Hello and welcome back to another UCL fantasy video. Today we're heading into match day 10, which is the second leg of the playoff round, and again it is the final match where we have our current teams as we once again get unlimited transfers before heading into the round of 16. So it's another shootout round where we basically just have two more transfers to maximise the points we can get from our team from just this one match day. So we are going to have clean sheet odds, goal odds, ball recovery stats as well, and then of course my team at the end with the transfer plans for match day 10. So if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe as well if you are new, because we've got lots of UCL fantasy content every single match day, and let's jump straight into it. So last week I did feel as though I'd done actually pretty decent. We got a 78 point week, which normally is actually quite good. I still ended up with a red arrow, however. We dropped about 1,500 places or so, and I think the majority of that, the big factor with that is the captaincy choice in Harry Kane. On day one I wanted to go a little bit differential to try and gain some rank back, and I went for Kolo Muani. That was unfortunately a failed experiment, and a lot of people did go for Ousmane Dembele around my rank, and he obviously done really well with that 13 pointer. Should have definitely been a 16 pointer. I've got no idea how he never got man of the match, but I guess that's kind of a blessing for me that captaincy, people that did captain him never got the 32 pointer from him. So definitely decent. Ended up going for Kane in day two. He still got 6 points, so that wasn't awful, obviously not too great either, but I did get a lot of hauls, the likes of Hakimi and Pacho picking up that clean sheet. Gatti got a goal and man of the match as well, which was fantastic. Guirassy continued his big form, was happy enough to go with him. He's returned in every single match day. It was a little bit of a differential, with a lot of people picking a lot of the easier fixtures. Sporting Lisbon away, obviously, on paper, isn't the best fixture of the round. There was still a couple of disappointments, however. Pulisic and Musiala never really contributed much, but they do have home fixtures this week, so hoping they can turn that around. Hein, again, should have, I think he was on a 5-pointer with, I think he done quite well for ball recoveries. I think he got about 9 or so, but he obviously conceded a penalty in the last minute, which was never a penalty, but that was a -1 for the penalty conceded, a -1 for the goal that was scored from the penalty, and he got booked as well, so that was -3, I think, all from that incident, and he dropped down to 2 points, so I felt a bit robbed of 3 points there, but I guess that kind of makes up for, the Dembele or, man of the match, if that was ever going to get given. De Gregorio, unfortunate not to keep a clean sheet. He was my main priority for goalkeeper this week, as Carnesecchi was a doubt, but he is going to be fit again for this week, which is good, and I think when we look at the clean sheet odds, I'm expecting Atalanta to be fairly high on that, and I don't have to make a transfer for Carnesecchi, and we're going to have that double Atalanta defence going into it. So looking good for this week. We'll take a look at the team in just a little bit, but let's jump into the stats. So in terms of fixtures this week, we obviously have our flipped fixtures. Everyone who played on Wednesday last week is now playing on Tuesday, so hopefully you didn't load up your team with all Tuesday players last week, because now you're going to have a bit of a bench struggle with a lot of Wednesday players this week. So hopefully you did split it half and half, but we do have some nice fixtures again, but a lot more red fixtures this week than we did last week. The ones to target this week are going to be Bayern and Atalanta. In terms of captaincy, I think it's going to have to be a Bayern player, whether that's Kane, Musiala or Elise. You're probably going to want at least 2 or 3 of those, maybe even all 3 if you want to go for the quadruple. Bayern. For Atalanta, I can't imagine too many people have a lot of Atalanta players, because Bruges away was a fairly difficult fixture last week, but the likes of Ademola Lookman looks as though he is going to be fit for this week, so he could be a nice one to transfer in and be a little bit of a differential. Milan, of course, playing at home to Feyenoord after getting beat last week. They are in a must-win in a must-win situation, so some Milan players could be quite nice. Again, for myself, I've already got Pulisic and Theo Hernandez. Could potentially look at maybe one more of them if you wanted to. Benfica 1-0 up against Monaco, now playing at home against them. Again, could be another nice one for the likes of Pavlidis, maybe Otamendi if you wanted a defender. Obviously, really nice options. But Feyenoord, Bruges and Celtic are the 3 teams that you're going to want to avoid this week if you do have any of those players. On Wednesday, once again, it's PSG that you want to be targeting. They're 3-0 up against Brest, heading up into a home fixture. Quadruple still looking really nice, and of course the captaincy there as well. Dortmund done really well against Sporting as well. Again, heading into a home fixture. Guirassy, a really, really good pick. Maybe wouldn't focus on the defenders. I would expect Sporting to have to come out and attack if they want any chance of going through. So Dortmund defenders might not be the best this week. PSV and Juventus up against each other. Juventus now being the away team isn't as good a fixture as it was in matchday 9, so would maybe be looking to avoid their players. Then of course Real Madrid and Man City up against each other again. A huge goal fest in matchday 9. Would be expecting something similar this week as well. So once again, we're looking at the two main teams in PSG and Bayern for clean sheet odds, 48% and 47% for those two. Milan have crept their way up this time. They are a 39% chance. They're the third most likely to keep a clean sheet. So if you do have the likes of Maignan in goals, a really nice pick, and of course Theo Hernandez as well. Atalanta are still fourth on the list. I believe they were fourth as well last week. Still lots of good defenders you can get from them. Zappacosta, Bellanova, Hein for ball recoveries, Carnesecchi of course in goal. A lot of really good picks in the Atlanta defence. Dortmund up there, but again a big difference between Dortmund and Atalanta, so when you look at Dortmund and below, there's a lot less of a chance for clean sheet odds. So you're probably just looking at the top four. You want to probably fill your defence with those four teams. It is fairly similar with the goal odds, with Bayern and PSG once again well over 50%, and then a big gap between third place. But Real Madrid have made their way up there this time. They have a 39% chance of scoring 3 or more goals at home to Man City. Of course, Milan and Atalanta up there as well. So the four teams that are appearing a lot here is going to be Bayern, PSG, and then you're going to have Milan and Atalanta below that, and of course Real Madrid in and abouts there as well. A really good pick. Benfica are still above 30% as well. They're 30% chance to score 3 or more goals. Like I said, Pavlidis could be a really good pick. Someone who's on red hot form now and doing really well in the Champions League as well. A lot of reds there this week though. The likes of Man City at 19%, Juventus at 15%. You could have a few attackers from there that you might want to get rid of. Again, Gyökeres for Sporting, only 11% chance of them getting a few 3 or more goals. So Haaland, Kolo Muani, Gyökeres could be strikers you'd be looking to get out this week. And just before we move on to the team, this is how it's looking for ball recoveries. So Pacho, who has been at the top for a long time, has been pretty disappointing for ball recoveries. He had a massive gap over everyone else basically. This is just players from the playoff rounds of course, but Hein has been the one that has overtaken him. He's been really good for them. I think 3 weeks ago he wasn't even on the top 10, or 3 match days ago, and he's just shot right up. So he's at 73 now with Pacho a little bit behind. Again, Otamendi, we mentioned, if you wanted a Benfica defender against Monaco, he's probably the best one to go for because he's doing really well for ball recoveries. You can have a look at the rest of the list again if you're interested in any of those defenders. So with all that being said, this is the 2 moves I'm going to be making this week, and I'm going to be taking out both my Juventus players. They are 2-1 up in the fixture, but they're now away from home to PSV, and I'm going to be looking to move on to teams that are playing at home and just have a little bit better of a fixture this week. Now, I'm bringing in a big differential in Pavlidis. Now, I don't have any Real Madrid attackers outside of Jude Bellingham in midfield. I would really like to get in Vinicius Jr. The only issue I'm having is he plays on Wednesday, and I think if I was to get Vinicius Jr. in, I'd be in a situation where I'd only have 6 players playing on Tuesday, and I don't want to leave myself with a bench dilemma to try and deal with. So I'm going for Pavlidis, who is playing on day 1 and could do really well. I think he's just got as good an opportunity to do well against Monaco as the likes of Vinicius Jr. or Mbappe could do against Manchester City. So going for the big differential option. He's currently only 2% owned. I don't think I'm going to captain him. We'll look at it in a little minute. But a really good differential pick that I think could do really nicely on Tuesday. And of course, if he doesn't do well, we can always just sub him out for someone on Wednesday. Gatti's coming out. I don't think Juventus are going to keep a clean sheet. They never done it at home in matchday 9. I don't think they're going to do it away from home in matchday 10. Really happy with his 11-pointer, but happy to move on from him. And I'm going to be bringing in my third Bayern Munich player, who's going to be Kim at home, who obviously missed out in matchday 9 and is going to be perfectly fit for matchday 10. Hoping for some ball recoveries, maybe a clean sheet as well would be great. So this is how the team looks heading into match day 10, and this is the team that I'm very, very confident with. I think I'm climbing back into the top 10k very, very easily with this team. As you will maybe notice, every single player is playing at home apart from De Gregorio, who is in the second goalkeeper spot. So he's going to be the backup if Carnesecchi doesn't keep a clean sheet against Bruges. But every single outfield player is playing at home this week, and I'm really, really expecting big, big things from everyone. I've got the double Bayern attack. Ideally, I would like to have someone like Elise in there, but I don't think any of my midfielders are worth taking out at this moment in time. Barcola was obviously the biggest disappointment in match day 9, but again, it's playing at home. You know, he had a lot of chances in match day 9 as well, so I think he easily could, you know, reverse that and do quite well this time round. Again, I have filled my defence with the 4 teams that we spoke about on the clean sheet odds, PSG and Bayern being the big 2. 3 of the 5 of my defenders are from those 2 teams, and then we've got 1 from Atalanta and 1 from AC Milan as well. So really, really hoping for big, big things from every single player in the team this week. The captaincy is going to go on Harry Kane on Tuesday, just the safe pick. I don't really want to gamble too much, and then it will be Ousmane Dembele if Kane doesn't pick up any more than like 9 or 10 points. I suppose I think I can make that decision if it does come down to it. As I already mentioned with the dates, with Pavlidis coming in, that now gives me Pavlidis, Kane, Musiala, Pulisic, Kim, Hein, Hernandez and Carnesecchi. So I've got 8 players now playing on Tuesday, which leaves me with 7 on Wednesday, which is probably the ideal split that you can go for. Both my transfers are getting used on players playing on Tuesday, and of course with the 2 big teams this week being Bayern and PSG, I have 7 of a possible 8 from both those teams. So really, really happy, really, really confident with this team, hoping I can shoot right back up the ranks, and everyone easily has a good chance of picking up a lot of points this week. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on it. Do you agree with the transfers? Let me know down in the comments. It could be a little bit suicidal not going for a Real Madrid forward, but we're going to have to wait and see and hope Man City can maybe pull it off, or at least Jude Bellingham is going to be the one that scores all of Real Madrid's goals. So good luck for match day 10. Again, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Follow me over on Twitter in case there is any last minute changes to the team. As always, the link is in the description, or you can just type in the name just below my face. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.